All right, TSL, let's get it. Welcome back or welcome to another edition of The Sales Life. And the sales life is just not for those in the sales profession. You see the title Sales Life and you say, dude, I'm not in sales. If you ever have an end game in mind, if you speak to anybody, if you work with anybody, if you talk to anybody, if you buy anything at all, if it has an end game, an outcome based for your life, then you're in sales. Now, it may not be in the profession of sales, but you're in the life building skills of sales. And so each and every episode, what I want to help you become is a top producer in your life. And so to do that, man, you got to take some of these skills that we learn in the sales profession and you got to apply those to your life. And those skills are your vitamin C's, man. The vitamin C's, and they all start with C. That's communication, connection, curiosity, creativity, consistency, continuous learning, being coachable, and damn it, be able to handle the criticism too. Because criticism is crucial, man. You got to be able to handle that criticism. So I try to bring some of the sales skills that I learned in the profession and apply those to your personal life as well. Because I say sales is life, life is sales. Ta-da! That's why we call it the sales life. Dude, I was going over my notes and I didn't realize what time it was, like 6:51. I'm like, oh, snap, let's go live. So the scariest time, man, to do anything is when you go live. As many times and thousands of times that I've talked, man, dude, hitting the live button is super, super scary, man. But I do it. I force myself to do that. And I'm saying all that to say, you may not be a live person, but there are creative things, man, that you need to put out into the world that you're pulling back because you don't want to go live, because you don't want to subject yourself to criticism. Bro, push the button. Whatever your button is, I want you to go live. Today's episode, man, is on Apple Podcasts. It's also on Stitcher, Spotify, Amazon Music as well. And so it's a little bit different version than what we're going to talk about today. That one, it goes a little bit longer form. And with the video itself, I like to stream it a little bit. So if you're watching this live, man, leave your comments below. Also with the hashtag TSL, so I can give you a shout out at the end of the show. And if you're watching this on the replay, bro, I still got love for you, man. Watch it on the replay. Leave the hashtag TSL. Also, leave me your takeaways as well. If you find value in these podcasts, man, if you would, be a big thing if you would hit the share it with someone else, and also hit the subscribe button. That way you'll be alerted. Now we are live on Facebook, YouTube, and also Periscope. Trying to get on LinkedIn, man. I reached out to LinkedIn, man. Push the button. Let me get on LinkedIn Live also. And so they are working on it. So the more you help promote the show, man, we'll get those LinkedIn people to look at that as well. So normally when episode 592 was on the book, Greenlights, Matthew McConaughey's book. And normally when I do when I read a book or come out of a riff off of chapter of a book, I normally go on to something else. The book is that good, man. I gotta come back to it one more again. I gotta riff off of that. And we pick up where McConaughey, he's starting to get some acting roles. He's called his dad and says, look, I'm going to be a full-time actor. I'm dropping out of school, because he was going to go to school to be a lawyer. Dad embraced it, so he rocked out with it. So McConaughey packed up, man, left Texas, drove out to Hollywood, and went to go live with the only guy in Hollywood that he knew. His name was Don. And so he gets out there, and just like in the sales life, man, the should-bes weren't coming together. What do you do if the should-bes don't come together? This should be a deal. This should be happening for me. This loan should be coming through. What do you do? Because you can't cash the should-bes. And so McConaughey went out there all piss and vinegar, man, thinking that he was going to get out there and make something really shake. But true to Hollywood style, some of the acting roles were shelved. And some of the gigs that he needed, well, they were shelved too. And so one night, casually after a nice steak dinner and a couple of drinks, McConaughey realized, his account's a little bit low. And so he asked Don, just matter-of-factly, kind of really offhanded, And he says, Don, you think you can get me a meeting with an agent? Kind of low on cash, and I need to get some work. Don dropped his fork and he lost it, man, cussed him out. And he said, what you need to be is you need to be cool. You need to get out of town. And don't come back until you no longer need it. He said, because if this town gets the hint that you're needy, that desperation, you're done for. Nobody will ever know who Matthew McConaughey was. So McConaughey did just that. He got out of town. And he didn't come back until he was ready to not need it. And he realized or discovered a valuable lesson. He said, Hollywood, want her, don't need her. He said, because Hollywood is forever for rent and never to own. And he wrote something, man, that this is where I was going to go with it. And I almost shelved the podcast because I wrestled with what he said. He said, let me pull it up on the screen for you. He said, the answer is what we need. The question is what we want. And I almost just put that on my snap, rolled with it for a minute clip, and then rocked on. I said, man, I don't have enough for an episode. But I couldn't get away from what he just wrote. The answer is what we need. But the question is what we want. And the more I thought about it, and the more I wrestled with this Sunday, a couple of hours, I realized your need must be an action, not a result. I mean, think about what do you need in order to survive? If I said, what do you need to survive? Well, what is it? Food, water, clothing, shelter. It's the bare essentials. That's what you need. But many times, dude, you continue to live your life with the bare essentials, with what you need. I need to pay the mortgage. I need to pay the light bill, the car note, the daycare. I need to buy some groceries. That's it. And we're living our life with the answers. But we're not asking the questions. What do you want? And that was a total shift for McConaughey. So McConaughey began walking into those auditions, wanting the role, but he didn't need the role. Because, see, need is a desperation. Want is a direction. A need will take anything. And see, for McConaughey, if he walked in there needing, even though he needed some money, if he walked in there needing the role, then if he didn't get the lead role with that need mentality, he would have settled for anything. Well, we've already cast the lead role. Okay, what do you have? Well, I mean, you could be the tree in the background. Okay, I'll take it. How much does it pay? And that's what happens, man. We walk around with the need mentality. But see, need is scarcity. And when you need it, and with that scarcity mentality, then what happens is when it doesn't happen, you say, oh my God, what will I do? But want is an abundance mentality. And if it doesn't come through, or even as you approach it, you say, oh my God, What do I need to do? See, need is an action in that sense. Because I led with the want. I'm walking in there with a want. Everything I approach is confidently with a want. I don't need this thing. I'm not going to go under. This isn't the end all be all for me. What I want. And if I walk in there, if you walk in there with a want, then even when it doesn't come through, you're constantly questioning. Because all you're doing is you're asking questions of yourself. What do I need to do in this sense? But didn't get it. Okay. What do I need to do to make this happen next time? Right? So I went even further with this. And I said, okay. I looked up the word want. And that didn't help at all. Because when I looked up the word want, need was plastered all over the page. I'm like, oh, I almost shelved it. I said, I'm not doing this. But here's the twist, man. A want with an object is a demand. It's a direction. A want without an object. It's got no object. I just need something. Fill in the blank. Okay, it'll do. A need without an object is a wish. It is what it is. And so much of your life, dude, is needy. It's objectless because you're working every single day trying to fulfill the bare essentials when there's more available. But you'll never be able to get it, achieve it, attract it if the world smells you're desperate. You got to shift it to that want. It's no longer just good enough. I'm not desperate. I'm driven. I'm directed. So McConaughey, to get the lead roles, he walked in there wanting it. He didn't need it. Because, see, he was driven. He wasn't desperate. So case in point for me, man, a few years ago, choking on debt. I was paying a mortgage on a house that no one was living in. The meter's running. I'm recently demoted. The business isn't doing good, so I'm not even making good money even on a demoted. If I was not demoted, I wouldn't have made good money. Choking on debt. So I'm paying on a mortgage, and with the mortgage comes you got to mow the yard, you got to do the maintenance, things are breaking on it. Choking. And I'm living across town in an apartment. So I got 2 meters running here, man. And so I signed up with an agent. And I said, look, I need to sell this house. And she called me one day and she said, hey, I got an offer. We got to meet. I got an offer. All right. I go meet her. And the offer, dude, was like $100,000 below low average. And I looked at her like she was crazy. I said, what is this? And the smile dropped from her face. She said, I thought you needed to sell the house. I said, I'm driven. I'm motivated. I'm not desperate. Because although I did need to sell the house, I led with my wants. And so while I was marketing the house, I realized, hey, you can't sell an expensive house as is. You got to do some work on it. See, I started asking the questions, what do you want? I want a higher offer. What's it going to take? You got to beautify the property. And I was asking myself that question. Didn't want to do it. Did it. Had to. And I had some other options. I said, okay. So not just foreclosing. That was the end all be all. But hey, worst case scenario, I could rent the property. I could Airbnb it. And then in the meantime, I could beautify the property. See, I was asking questions. What else can I do with this property while I'm choking on this debt? Instead of just saying, oh my God, I'm going to go under if I don't sell this house. Need. I would have went under because all I was doing is working from a scarcity versus saying same property, same options. I was asking questions. I didn't need the answers. See, needs in your life, dude, have to be the supporting character to your life. They cannot play the lead role. Because otherwise, dude, you're going to settle for anything. A need is the action to the want. So I had a teacher the other day ask me, he said, man, where's the sales life lead for you? I said, my goal is to be a top 100 podcast in the world. 1 million podcasts out there, be top 100 in the world. That's what I want. I don't need it. That's what I want. And I got to asking myself this question this weekend. Well, who is the top 100? See, I didn't even ask that question before. I just thought it was supposed to mysteriously happen. Thanks to all the thumbs. No. How many of the top 100, who are they, number one? And the first thing I realized is I was miscategorized. I had to go in and fix the categories. See, I had to ask the question, what do you want with top 100? Well, what needs to happen? What category are you in? Who are you following and listening to that is the direction that you want to go? I don't have to be like them, but they're in the direction I want to go. So it'd be good to team up with them and listen to them. So I had to clear out my podcast queue. I subscribed to like 42, I think I counted, podcasts. So I had to clear out my queue, man, and add some top 100 to that thing because I had to lead with the wants. I mean, think about this. Think about when you say, man, I need to lose some weight, right? Well, 2 years later, I'm going to come up to you and you're still going to be saying, man, I need to get in the gym. I sure need to lose weight. You didn't do anything because you're leading with the needs. You want the answers. You want the results, but you're not asking the questions. If instead, when you're sick and tired of being sick and tired, you don't need to lose the weight. I want to lose the weight. That's different. That's a different confidence shift for you. I want to lose weight. Then you ask the question, what needs to happen? Number one, how much? 60 pounds. How long? 7 months. What needs to happen? Every day. 5 a.m. 30 minutes a day. Minimum. Twice a day. No alcohol. Substitute the food that you like to eat. Eat as much food as you want. Just make sure it's clean food. No cheat days. See, those are want questions. Ain't need. I need it. And you starve yourself. And you get burned out. And you end up quitting. See, this is a total shift for you, man, in your perspective. Total shift. Because, see, I lead with the wants. And the answers come secondary, but they're primary in your life. So you want the answers before you even ask the questions. What the hell's the question? That's what the world's asking you. Give me some answers. Give me some answers. And the world is asking you, what's the question? You ask the question, I'll give you the answers. So when you need the customer to say yes, when you need the loan to come through, when you need that man in your life, when you need that promotion or that job, you got to ask the question. You don't need any of that. You want it. And when you want it, dude, you're walking in there with a different perspective because you're not done. If this doesn't come through, let's roll. See, I want to be a top producer. I don't need this customer to say yes. Oh my God, I need to pay my rent. What am I going to do? Customers sense that, man. They smell that. They say, ooh, there's something wrong with Marsh. I ain't going to buy from him. He's a nice guy. I'm not. We're going to look around. It's because I need to, but I want him to. But I don't need you to. See, that's different. And if you think with that want mentality, if you walk in there, I don't need it. I want it. Then what you're doing is what needs to happen. Didn't come through. What needs to happen? What do I do from here? You'll never settle again if you lead with this want mentality. You'll walk in there more confidently. and you'll earn your wants, and you'll no longer settle for your needs. Remember, the greatest sale that you'll ever make is to sell you on you, because you're more than enough. Stay amazing. Stay in the sales life. Thanks for sharing, subscribing, and leaving your comments below. Take care.